is described by the great sages. All translation and purport by His Divine Grace, HH Bhakti Vinoda Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki. All occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. Purport: we have already discussed that pure devotional service to the Lord is automatically followed by perfect knowledge and detachment from material existence. But there are others who consider that all kinds of different occupational engagements, including those of religion, are meant for material gain. The general tendency of any ordinary man in any part of the world is to gain some material profit in exchange for religious or any other occupational service. Even in the Vedic literatures, for all sorts of religious performances, an allurement to material gain is offered, and most people are attracted by such allurements or blessings of religiosity. Why are such so-called men of religion allured by material gain? Because material gain can enable one to fulfill desires which in turn satisfy sense gratification. This cycle of occupational engagements includes so-called religiosity followed by material gain, and material gain followed by fulfillment of desires. Sense gratification is a general way for all sorts of fully occupied men. But in the statement of Suta Goswami, as per the verdict of the Srimad Bhagavatam, this is nullified by the present shloka. One should not engage himself in any sort of occupational service for material gain only, nor should material gain be utilized for sense gratification. How material gain should be utilized is described as follows. Umagyan Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namah Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This chapter is called Divinity and Divine Service, a very wonderful description of devotional service. Right in the introduction, in the beginning stage, the sages are asking 6 questions in Naimisharanya to Suta Goswami, headed by Shaunaka Rishi, and he is starting to explain the answers to the questions. In that, he is immediately speaking first about Shukadeva Goswami, who is his guru, because he sat down and heard the entire Bhagavatam being spoken by Shukadeva Goswami to Parikshit. So he offers his respects, and then he starts answering the questions of the sages. Bhavadbhir lokamangalam yat krita Krishna samprashno yenatma suprasiddhati. Your questions are wonderful, are very auspicious. Bhavadbhir lokamangalam, very auspicious for people in this world. Why? Krishna samprashna. Your question is about Krishna. Yenatma suprasiddhati. By hearing this, automatically the Atma will become very satisfied. So there, he has really started explaining what is dharma. And in the previous shlokas we will see, Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje. The topmost duty for anybody is to develop love for Krishna and serve him. And then Prabhupada is very nicely mentioning here in the purport that dharma actually means a a particular definition Prabhupada gives. He says that dharma actually means, where is it? I wanted to read exactly word to word, verbatim, the definition given by Prabhupada. Now, Prabhupada is saying here, where is that? I lost it. What is the dharma of anybody or anything? And intrinsic quality is one definition that we hear. And here Prabhupada is saying that it means, where is it? We have purposely denoted dharma as occupation because the root meaning of the word dharma is that which sustains one's existence. In text 6, Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo. That which sustains one's existence is the root meaning of the word dharma. And here it says, Dharma Swanushtitha Pumsam, the sloka before this. Na utpadayat yadiritim shamayevahi kevalam. By performing your so-called dharma, if it don't awaken love for Krishna, that dharma is useless. Simply useless labor. Then in this shloka, it's a very beautiful exposition of what dharma is. If you don't read scrutinizingly, you don't understand. Dharmasihi apavargyasya. Everybody in this world is supposed to actually understand illusion, understand reality, and try to become free from illusion. This is the meaning of material life. Ultimate purpose of material life is to become free from material life. So it is mentioned that while you are doing that, the goal of life should be how to develop parodharma, love of God, because that is the way you will become free. To actually, while doing that, dharmasihi apavargyasya nartho arthayo upakalpate, and while doing that, kamolabhaya hi smrtaha. If one indulges in sense gratification, that is very bad. It's mentioned here. Because before that it is described that varnashrama dharma means a mix of satisfying one's material desires and trying to achieve the goal of life. And it is sort of contained in the Bhagavatam. It says, okay, fine, but if that does not help you to become renounced and completely engaged without a tinge of sense gratification in Krishna consciousness, only devotional service, then that is not helping you. It is not helping you. Shamayevahi kevalam. And here, I will read this translation again. All occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. So, all occupational engagements, varnashrama duties, they are meant for liberation only. They are not meant for settling down here in this world, making yourself materially comfortable and getting all your material needs through performing this sacrifice, that homa, this yajna and everything, and getting in return material requirements and being very comfortable. Yeah, I am successful in life. I got things that I wanted and I am leading good life. Actually not so, according to the Bhagavatam. It says that if you settle down there thinking that this is the goal of life, you're making a very big mistake. You should actually pursue Once you have a comfortable situation, very good, it's a good karma for you. You should actually be worried, concerned about you not developing love for Krishna, because that is the real dharma. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshache. If you simply bother about material gain and think that your life has been successful, I've materially gained this, materially done that, done my duties, done this, that, everything, I am successful, it says no. It says no. Because all those so-called varnashrama dharma things are meant for you to become liberated from material entanglement, not for making yourself comfortable there. Next portion reads, furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. And you know this, and therefore you are engaged in devotional service to the Lord. While you are engaged in devotional service to the Lord, since you have understood and you are engaged in devotional service, if you actually start using material gain for gratification, then you are again falling into another trap. First trap is varnashrama dharma, thinking that this is comfortable and this is okay, that's all the goal of life. The next one is you cross that and you came into devotional service to the Lord. And there again you are stuck up in cultivating material gain and gratification coming from it. Why? Because invariably in your spiritual life, you will get plenty of material opportunities. It's very amazing that when you are hankering for it, you won't get it. And when you have declared that I don't want it anymore, I'm going to completely absorb myself, that's when you'll get maximum proposals for material life. It's very wonderfully designed. As soon as you declare that no, I'm not interested, I'm going to completely focus on Krishna consciousness, that is the time you will get the best of proposals. The best of proposals. And you'll be highly tempted. You'll be very tempted to indulge in those gratificatory pursuits. It says here, if you do that, you're finished. So actually staying in the material world is quite risky, especially if you're very interested in Krishna consciousness. That's why you should see how society was designed is most of the people stayed in the forest. 3/4 of them stayed in the forest. The brahmachari, the vanaprastha and the sannyasi. They all lived in the forest. Simple living, high thinking. The whole day engaged in devotional service was very simple material activity. Very naturally oriented towards acceptance of whatever is available from the river, from the trees, from the bhumi, from the flowers, from the fruits, from everything, whatever is available. They live a simple life and completely focus on, in that sattvic atmosphere, completely focus on Krishna consciousness. Actually, city life is very passionate and very tamasic also. And it is highly agitating, especially for a person engaged in devotional service to the Lord. Many times the time devotees think they'll go and settle down somewhere and chant Hare Krishna. And they will peacefully do things. But even Bharata taught like that only, King Bharata. And he left everything and went to the forest. But he got entrapped by a proposal coming to him in a very subtle way. And he fell a prey to that. Similarly, Vishwamitra Muni, he was doing Ghora Tapasya and he fell a prey to direct association with the members of the opposite sex. So it is not at all so easy actually. We should not take it very casual. These are philosophical statements, but Suta Goswami is speaking from his realizations of the whole Bhagavat that he has heard and he has experienced in life. And he's saying that Varnashrama may be good, may be a stepping stone, but it should not become the comfortable place for the soul, thinking that I am completely properly engaged and have done something successfully. So here what is relevant to us is, many of us have become devotees of the Lord. At least we have declared to the world and we have declared to ourselves also that I am a devotee. And devotee, as is mentioned here, means one who is practicing renunciation. Automatically, it's part of his life. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Sikshartham Eka Purusha Purana hai. Sri Krishna Shariradhari. Lord Chaitanya is very pleased when a person follows Vairagya. Means voluntarily giving up certain comfortable, gratificatory situations. Sometimes we think it's my good karma, why should I not enjoy it? That is, sometimes people ask me that, it's like part of my horoscope. I'm getting it like that and I must, because I'll be. So if you look into the life of Raghunath Das Goswami, you will see it is part of his horoscope to be a Zamindar's son. But in his mind, it was a great desire to join Lord Chaitanya and renounce all these things and be completely engaged in Krishna consciousness. So he went through a lot of trouble to get out. And finally Lord Chaitanya gave him blessing, Nityananda Prabhu gave him blessing, and he came out of the clutches of this thing. And Nityananda Prabhu told him that very soon you'll be released. You tried to escape without getting mercy, it has never worked. Now, I am very pleased with you, now you'll be able to get out of it. And then it happened that he was able to get out of his situation. And he went right and surrendered to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was very intelligent and careful. When he came to the ashram there, when he came to Gambhira there, he was entrusted to Swarup Damodar Goswami. And Swarup Damodar Goswami was told, look after him. He came to be called Swarupera Raghu. That Raghunath who belongs to Swarupa, that was his name. He was hanging around with, and he was told that feed him, Zamindar's son, and for 12 days he has walked without any food, nothing, give him prasadam. So every day he was getting a Mahaprasadam plate, full. But after eating for 1, 2, 3 days, he stopped eating. He decided on his own. Although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told you can get that plate and you can eat, he decided, okay, over 1, 2, 3 days over, I didn't come here for this. He instantly went to beg in Jagannath's entrance, where people bring Mahaprasadam from the Prasad Bhandar and distribute to people. He stood there and begged. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard from Govinda that he is no more eating here, he is there and is singing, he became mildly pleased, and he didn't express it. But Govinda understood that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pleased with the act of renunciation of Raghunath Das Goswami. We may pass it off as something very casual, but for a Zamindar's son to choose not to eat food that has been directed by, prasadam that's been directed by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and make a decision not required for me, on his own, without anybody else telling him. Why? Dharmasya hi apavargasya dharmai sukaiti kantikas nartasya dharmai kantasya kamo labhaya smrita. He decided, no, that is sense gratification. For me to sit and keep eating in the name of Mahaprasadam, I keep eating. It is not very good. I didn't come here for that. I have done enough of that in my house before. I don't have to do it here again. He made a decision not to be involved in it. Voluntarily gave it up. See, it is written in his horoscope that he should enjoy because he has got very good karma. He comes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he decides not to do it. Rather, not even to beg in front of Jagannath's gate, but to go in the backside and eat the rejected food that is thrown there for the cows. Stinky, rotten rice and everything. He went to the backside, only cows are there and prasadam is there. Nobody else comes there because it's rotten and stinky. Very good, nobody will disturb me, this is where I should be. He goes there and washes the rice that comes from the drain with water and he eats that. He decides to impose this austerity on himself. Why? Because I come from a very rich family. My mind is demanding those type of facilities. I will give the opposite to my mind. He was subjecting himself voluntarily to austerity. Because, according to the shloka, he knows that in the name of spiritual life, if I start gratifying myself, that is another bigger trap. In fact, it's more insidious a trap. So many times, in the name of Krishna consciousness, in the name of devotional service, we tend to indulge and we get carried away. That is spoken about here. One should not engage himself in any sort of occupational service for material gain only, nor should material gain be utilized for sense gratification. How material gain should be utilized is described as follows. So we have a lot of material gain as International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Although we say that it belongs to Krishna and it is given by many people, all their hard-earned wealth and money and assets, everything, very sincerely they offer it. And if you utilize it for your material gratification, then everything is lost. It's even worse. So especially those who live in the ashram, they should know this very big responsibility, that everything is coming through your hands and through your control. What? Material assets. It's a more dangerous position for you than you would have been outside, because only what is due to you will come to you. As per your jatagam, what is due to you as your horoscope, will come to you. But if you are inside representing ISKCON, many things will come to you which are not in your horoscope. Huge things will come to you. Properties, money, assets, material objects, everything and everybody will come to you. And if you at any point of time utilize any of those things for your own personal gratification, then you will be ruined. It is even more serious than what is mentioned here. Why? Because you are a custodian. You are a custodian of Krishna's property, Krishna's asset. And everybody is giving into Krishna's assets, thinking that this will definitely be utilized for Krishna, and handing it over to you personally. Right? So you have to be very careful how you utilize it exclusively in Krishna's service. Idam Krishnaya idam na mama. This is for Krishna, not for me. Being very careful. I don't want to look at it. Why? Anything that belongs to Krishna, I shouldn't in any way even eye it. And I should not even rationalize in my mind certain things and enjoy it. I should be very careful as a custodian, because we are put ourselves in a very, very delicate situation by being custodians of Krishna's wealth and property. In fact, everything is Krishna's wealth and property. But here more so evidently, obviously, a devotee should never be seen enjoying the assets of the deity for yourself. But this does not mean that you have to follow some false austerity. Definitely Lord Jagannath is giving you prasadam to eat. You can eat the prasadam. No doubt about it. You can definitely enjoy while eating the prasadam, because it has to go through your tongue. You cannot bundle up the prasadam and throw it into your tummy, across your throat without tasting it. That will be very artificial to do. So you have to taste it. You be careful that you will taste the prasadam, honor the prasadam, and maybe not overeat more than necessary, and maybe not hoard it separately, and maybe not do certain types of things which will actually be detrimental to your spiritual life. Just taking the example of prasadam alone. Now there are many, many other assets of Krishna which will come in front of you. Anything and everything. And if we cannot actually see it and understand it as Krishna's assets, which is not meant for my gratification, you will find it very challenging, very difficult. Many devotees join the movement and then leave it. It's because that they are not able to actually control themselves, keep a tab on themselves, and lead a disciplined, controlled life in every aspect. So we have to be constantly watching what our mind is suggesting, why it is suggesting, what is our situation. Because once you become familiar, if you become too familiar and comfortable, it's very difficult to change. It's very difficult to change. So, in a spiritual atmosphere, one of the things that happen to you is that you become comfortably situated and you become non-responsive to any instructions, and you become non-responsive also to your authority who is trying to explain to you and engage you. And in this way you get lost. You get lost. Everybody gets what they seriously want. Krishna will send to you what you really want. When somebody is in some situation, we know that he desires it, and it has been given to him. If you desire pure devotional service to Krishna and you want that situation, Krishna gives. Overcome your spiritual desire and your spiritual aspiration, and you will be getting that. You will be getting that. I have seen devotees get very good facility materially and get carried away by it and separate themselves even from the organization and start a pursuit based on that, and then it fails. After that only it fails. Till then it looks that everything is very successful and is going to be very successful. It is simply because what you deeply desire, what is your pulse, that is given to you by Krishna. Jagannath Baladev Subhadramaiki. That is given to you by Krishna. So, I am just stating these things from history, in our own organization also. That unbeknownst to us, we don't know what we are doing and why we are doing. And we may just get carried away. We just get carried away. And the mind offers the best of rationalizations. It will even take from Prabhupada's purport and tell you, see, it's mentioned here, what I am doing is correct. When you look for it, you will get exactly what you are looking for, with the underlying desire that you have. You can rationalize so many things. It's very dangerous to depend only on your own self and analyze and think, I'm right, I'll do it this way. That is why you must remain in the company of devotees. Sangha does not mean simply for having fun and gratification. Sangha means helps you to very deeply analyze and think. By proper Sangha association, you will actually become realized in what's happening. Your illusion will break. That's when you're getting proper association. Whenever your illusion breaks and the bubble breaks, you know I'm getting good association. When you become very comfortable in the bubble, it's not good Sangha, actually. It's not good Sangha. You see, Hanuman, his powers were not known to him. Very powerful. And also a very powerful devotee. His powers were completely hidden from him, because he was utilizing it in all sorts of ways when he was very young. And the Rishi cursed him and said, only when you have to actually do that service, it will come to you. And you will remember your powers. Otherwise you are misusing it and you don't know how to use it, you are too young. So the Rishi cursed him and said, when you have to really serve Lord Ramachandra, it will come to you. So this curse is a great blessing for Hanuman, because he was controlled by that curse. He remained very humble. And if you see in that scene on the shore of the ocean, they have found, Sampati has told that Sita is there. And he can see Sita there by his sharp eyes. And they are very happy that they have found Sita. And they are all sitting on the beach and trying to understand how now we will cross this ocean. And each one is calculating how much you can jump. And I can do 20 yojanas, I can do 100, I can do that. And then finally each one says, I cannot do beyond that. Then finally Angada says, I can jump, but I cannot come back. So even all these people discuss it. And somebody is not at all responding, but very quietly sitting on the corner. That is Hanuman. On a separate rock he is sitting and he is very deeply meditative. Then Jambavan only knows. He makes out everybody is saying all this things. He also says, I cannot do, I am too old now. But then it suddenly strikes him that this person, Hanuman, is not saying anything. He is keeping quiet. And it strikes him that he is the one who can actually do it. He is the one who can actually do it. So he goes to him and reminds him about his powers. And then the story is that Hanuman remembers. And then he becomes huge. And then suddenly gets the amazing enthusiasm to go and cross and get Sita for Ramachandra. And he moves. And when he goes there and lands and goes to Lanka, the first thing he does is, his association is so powerful. He is now come with full energy and he is chanting the name of Ram, and he crossed so many hurdles and he landed there. And he tries to enter Lanka as a small monkey. And it's mentioned that Lankini, the person looking after the whole of Lanka and the entry, we may think there is no security. Actually there is complete security, full, highly secure, software, automated security. As soon as he coolly enters, he gets a box, he gets thrown away by this Lankini, who asks him, who are you? Why have you come here? For the first time, Lankini is seeing a small monkey trying to enter. And then Hanuman decides to teach you a lesson. Because he tries to go in many ways, he tries to convince, she doesn't allow. And she says, I'll give you one, you better get away from here. So Hanuman decides, I think she needs my association. He decides that I should give her very strong, powerful association. And he moves backwards and rushes and gives her one socking punch on the face. such a heavy punch it is, she rolls and falls down. Instantly she wakes up and says, I'm very sorry. Instantly she wakes up and says, I'm very sorry. And I have understood. Because long back I was cursed, and it was predicted by Brahma that the day a monkey comes and socks you, punches you, from that day your curse will be lifted. Not only that, from that day Lanka will start going down. These two things you must know. And so she has been in a complete bubble, thinking Ravana is my master and I should listen to what he says, and who is this monkey entering, rascal, and stopped him. So Hanuman knew that this person is inside a bubble. I need to break it. Right? So she got up and gave that lady one powerful sock on the jaw. Instantly her curse got lifted, and she realized this is no ordinary monkey. And she immediately did obeisances to Hanuman. I know. I understood now. And then he introduces himself. He tells, I'm Hanuman. I've got a whole mission to save Sita. I've come here. It says, okay, thank you. You do what you want. It disappears. My curse is gone. I've got no more security for Lanka. So it is mentioned that Hanuman gave her such powerful association that the bubble broke and she got liberated from the curse and she went away. All happened so fast. Sometimes devotees give us powerful sock on the jaw, especially because we need it. We need to be woken up like that, because we are very comfortably situated inside the spiritual life, thinking that everything is fine and everything will go nicely because I'm doing all my things correctly. No. You need a sock in the jaw by somebody like Hanuman. That is really the meaning of Guru. He doesn't care that you're Lankini, he doesn't care that you're guarding Ravana's place. All you need to know that you're doing wrong. You're wasting your time. Powerful sock he gives. So sometimes in Sangha, we get to know that we may not be actually very spiritually oriented, although we may think so. We get comfortably situated. Sometimes when you do services for a long time, you go into a niche and you think everything is fine and I'm doing everything correct. That's why you need to constantly be changed. You need to actually change. People, everybody, even in spiritual life, you can get completely stuck up. If you don't, why? Because we are sadhakas. Sadhakas can get stuck up. A liberated person doesn't get stuck up. He's beyond. But a sadhaka can get stuck up. So the Bhagavatam is full of stories of different types of people. At various places, a yogi gets stuck because of siddhi. A karmi gets stuck because of fruitive desire. Jnani gets stuck because of speculation and desire for liberation. Mostly in proper religion, they'll ask, what do you mean got stuck up and desiring for liberation? That's the goal of life, to get liberated. But if you read the Bhagavatam, you'll say he got stuck with liberation. What? But isn't that the most important thing? Dharma, artha, kama, moksha? No. No. Kaivalyam narakayate tridashapur akasha pushpayate. Very nicely mentioned by Prabodhananda Saraswati. That the real goal of people who know the Bhagavatam and who are devotees is how to develop love for Krishna. Liberation is not important, because liberation serves such a devotee. Muktir swayam mukulitanjali sevate asman. Mukti is waiting on the doorstep, waiting to do some service to me. Why? Because I am very busy engaged in the service of the Lord. Mukti itself comes to serve such a person. This doesn't mean we have to think that we are great people, Mukti is waiting on my doorstep. As sadhakas, by the mercy of Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada, we get engaged in devotional service, which is so rich and high class. That is why you will read in the Bhagavatam, especially in this first canto, and especially in this chapter, the glory of devotional service. How rare it is, how wonderful it is, and how it awakens the soul, and how we must be carefully executing it and not spoil the chance by doing the regular stuff of mundanizing it and bringing it to the comfortable point of gratification in the material world. So devotional service is very special, and we are very special because we have somehow got to be able to perform devotional service, whether it is pure or impure. And we are very fortunate. These things should be highlighted every day to ourselves. The chanting of the holy name, reading the Bhagavatam, remaining the association of devotees, having an opportunity to serve, all these are very rare things happening to the soul. We must not think it to be ordinary, regular activities. So therefore, within that system of thought and understanding and performance, if we indulge unnecessarily in gratification, then that is the greatest misfortune. That's the greatest misfortune. So this chapter has got a series of such deep expressions on devotional service. Because the questions asked by the sages, the 6 questions asked by the sages are also very deep. Because they are asking questions like about Krishna's appearance, about what is the best essence of all the scripture, why did all the avatars of the Lord, and asking deep questions to do with Krishna. And that's why here Sutta Goswami is very happy to answer them. Krishna samprashno yenatma suprasiddhati. Because it has got to do with Krishna, I am also very happy to answer them. And the soul becomes very deeply satisfied. Suprasiddhati, by hearing that. So, you will see in this chapter also what is dharma will be very nicely understood. Prabhupada is giving very rich purport that normal understanding of dharma is religion, and religion means varnashrama, sanatana dharma, duties, moral, ethical codes of behavior for human society, etc. And it says here that really topmost dharma is rendering devotional service to the Lord. Savaipum samparo dharmo yato bhakti adhokshaje. So there is secondary duty, secondary dharma that we do, our occupational duty. But primary dharma, paro dharma, is always direct service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in conscious relationship of bhakti. That is what we are trying to do, paro dharma. And only the soul can do that. Only the soul can do that in its liberated state. So we are performing activity that is of very high order, very exalted, and all these great sages are getting to know about it. It's very interesting here, there will be a shloka that says that we have been engaged in this sacrifice. We are doing this yajna, homa, everything, and our faces have become blackened by the smoke. But you have come and you have spoken about Krishna and changed everything for us. It's very wonderful, this thing says, our faces have become blackened by the smoke of chanting this mantra, that mantra for the sake of welfare of everybody. We were sitting here and all this smoke gathered and all this thing. But you came and started speaking about Krishna. Krishna samprashno yenatma suprasiddhati, and changed everything. The sacrifice stopped. This is most important. Bhakti, devotional service to the Lord, is most important. So you will see here that the supremacy of devotional service, of developing love for Krishna, is the highlight and the high point. Not even ordinary dharma is given great importance. That's why Krishna is saying, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. All the other dharmas that you do, which are incidental and which you need to do, not really very important. You can even give it up. You can even give it up and surrender to me. Surrender to me, becoming my devotee, is the most important dharma. Because that is what you are. You are made up of that. You are made up of that. So, we execute understanding. So, on a very low level, people perform work in this world. They talk about job and they're very worried about job and the salary they will get and their occupation, and they need to definitely worry about it. But if you don't worry about the highest service in life and the work associated with that, which is devotional service, you will end up become completely challenged with this low level of work which you have to do for your roti kapda makan. It becomes like the biggest thing in your life and challenges you like nothing. But for a person who's engaged in devotional service to the Lord, it becomes very easy to do that, even if he is challenged. Even if he is challenged. Why? Because he's engaged in the highest occupational work for the soul. When he is doing that, which requires so much of himself completely, the work becomes much easier to do. For getting roti kapda makan, it becomes easier to do. This is also work, that is also work, somebody will say. But that is work that triggers your highest consciousness. And this is work that doesn't require your high consciousness at all. But you see how this has assumed the greatest importance in life. This is why it's material life. It's very important. And somehow or the other, all our focus will go towards it. All our focus will go to it. We were just arguing and discussing in our Fantastic Friday session about women's duties. It's a controversial topic. According to psychology of women and empowerment of women and economic empowerment of women and how everybody needs to work and the thing has gone up, etc., etc. Even women are stuck in the whole economic setup that everybody is pulled in to do that type of work only. And they have very less time to actually do devotional service to the Lord. But Bhagavatam is telling us, you simply do this. Everything else will take care of itself. And Krishna is also telling in Bhagavad Gita, Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate tesham nityabhyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. I will look after all those other things. If you focus on devotional service, whatever you need to get and whatever you need to do, your duties and all that, I'll set it right. You don't have to worry. Once you start doing that, I'll take care of it. You have to determine yourself to do it. Right? And then I'll take care about other things. Very solid statement. Yogakshemam vahami aham. I will do it for you. So many times we just read it and chant the shloka, but we don't actually believe in it. Mostly. We don't really think that I can sit down and do only devotional service and things will happen. Obviously it won't happen. I got to do it. But it is like that also. But you can keep doing and gradually you will see that I'm not really very worried if something happens in my work. Why? Because I'm more and more getting involved in devotional service. And deep inside a conviction is building up. That's why when I see the life of Bhakti Vinoda Swami Prabhupada, I can see a successful businessman who made money and had a big enterprise and everything shift into a completely different way of operation. And no money with me at all. and he goes to America. It's very difficult for a businessman to actually do that. You must understand this. If you really study Prabhupada's life history, if you put yourself in his position and you see his transformation when Bhaktivinoda Sri Thakur came in his dream and said, "Get out, come out," and he's, "How can I come out?" Like that. He was as bad as any one of us. That's why the teachings, his life is so realistic. And then he becomes the great businessman and pharmaceutical man and everything like that. He becomes that person who goes with $7 in his pocket to America. No businessman will do that actually. Only a devotee will do that. And Prabhupada did that. Total dependence on Krishna. I am going to do the work of Krishna. Why should I worry? And he goes there like that. For a very successful businessman once upon a time to think like this is such a transformation. And truly so, he gets his business acumen also to be utilized in this. Without thinking about profit for himself. He's thinking about profit for Krishna. And he uses his business acumen so wonderfully to build an empire all over the world worth billions without any attachment or involvement in it. It's a corporation he has built which is very different from the other corporation he was building in business. It's very amazing life history if you really look at it. This is exactly what he did. What did he do? He said, everything belongs to Krishna and I am doing the work of Krishna. Krishna will definitely send things to me. I'll utilize it in the service of Krishna. And it exactly happened like that. Because the Bhagavatam says so, the Bhagavad Gita says so. If you take a step, Krishna also takes a step with you. You take a step, Krishna takes a step with you. That is the amazing, and that's when we are really putting into practice. Putting into practice. What to speak of that? Even our own faith in devotional service itself, we say, it will not happen. Small things we say, distribute the book, go every day distribute. I don't think people don't take. See, they don't take. I'm going to 10 fellows, they don't take. Book distributors have that same mood like Prabhupada. Nobody takes, they keep distributing. Nobody, because they know that it doesn't matter. And all of a sudden somebody takes everything that you need. Every book distributor knows this. And it's lot of failure they'll have every day. It's like, forget it, don't do it. After all this, why are you doing anymore? Like that. But they keep doing because they know that it's not like that. It doesn't happen like that. And something boom happens always for them. So also those who may go out to collect funds for the project and this and that. If you think in your mind a defeatist way that nobody's giving, it's after COVID, it is this, it is that, it is this, it is that, you have 1 million excuses. I cannot do it. I don't feel like. All of them are mundane reasons. Just imagine what Prabhupada has done if he had this type of reasoning. He went and did something very huge, like jumped. It's like Hanuman leaping across to Lanka and knowing that I am nobody, I cannot do it. And then he's, no, you can't do it. You are invested with Lord Ramachandra's energy in you. And so he screams Rama and he 800 yojanas across. He's leaping. So he never knew he could do it. He never knew he could do it. But he did it. Same way Prabhupada also, he wouldn't have estimated that I could have done it when he was a grahastha running his business. Because the thinking is very different. But that same Prabhupada goes to America with $7 in his pocket. But his thinking is completely changed. It will happen if Krishna so desires. I must attempt. I must attempt it. It's a very subtle point, but this is where it happens. Krishna consciousness happens here. It's because you have faith in the words of Bhakti Vinoda Swami Prabhupada. And you do it. If you look at the life history of Prabhupada, and they say most of the things are bold steps that Prabhupada takes, saying, don't worry, Krishna will help you. The first time he's sending, Malini and Shyamasundar and all of them to London. Only 3 months after they have got initiated. And they're saying, Swamiji, we don't know anything. We just like you, we've been around with you, we eat prasadam, we do kirtan. He's telling them, don't worry, Krishna will help you. Everything you need, you'll get. Okay, if you say so. They just believed him. Just believed him. And they didn't have money also. Prabhupada is not going to give money. They didn't have money also. They borrowed something somewhere here and went. And it was such an amazing thing. If you look at the English history, UK history of how Krishna Conscious Guru there is so sweet to read it. They have written the whole history, how it happened. How it happened, that beautiful book, Where the Sun Shines. It's all miraculous. It's all miraculous. Why? Because you attempt it. And you become an instrument in that. So lots of devotees have this type of realization. Because they went and tried. They just do it. Everything else is dark if you reason out materially. But you step out on the basis of this. And even though there are setbacks, Prabhupada, in 1 year's time he had a stroke also. And not many things were looking bright at all. But finally everything is brightest. Everything is bright. Krishna chooses to do so. Krishna chooses to do so. So work, as compared to a devotional service work, is actually very different. You should not compare these two things together. They are very different. You should not be thinking in your mind like you do work. You should think in your mind, like Prabhupada has shown, this is Krishna's work. Anything he can do. I am happy to be somewhere doing something. His plan may be very huge. I don't know. And many devotees who actually do that, sometimes they think, oh stupid, he did that and this happened, that happened and all that. No. That's not true. That's only a very small portion of it. If you look at the larger picture, it's always victory. Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna Yatra Partha Tanudhara. But for people who can't see, won't see, cannot do and stuck in this thing, you'll always see that patch. They see those patches. And they have very legitimate reasons also to conclude that it is not possible. It's not possible. Same thing you will see in that Chaitanya Charitamrita printing. Rameshwar telling Prabhupada, impossible! With passion he's telling on the beach. I think it's on the beach in the morning walk. Prabhupada is telling 2 months produce all the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And these two are looking at each other, they stopped walking. What is this? It's really impossible actually. But the same people who thought it was impossible produced it in 2 months and gave it to Prabhupada. Because Prabhupada wants it and he is told it's possible. It's possible. How did it become possible? It's a mystery. It's mystical. Because the way Prabhupada produced the Chaitanya Charitamrita also is very mystical. Within a very short period, he did all the translation in this thing. So some of the devotees, something else happened. It's not that Prabhupada sat down every day and wrote. He has done something else mystical has happened. And the whole production was mystical. In 2 months, you couldn't have done it. But it's happening. It's happening. So work in Krishna consciousness, which is mentioned here, don't think it is ordinary. It is not mundane, it is not for material gain. It's different. It's different. One has to step into it actually to get a little smell of it. Then becomes very exciting for a devotee. And he becomes very enthusiastic. You see Prabhupada's enthusiasm, travel and preach. The body does not matter. It just doesn't matter. Because that's not what is working. Krishna is working through me. So what does it matter for him if your body is like this? If he has decided to do it with this body, it happens. It happened with Prabhupada. It happened. So no material calculation normally works. So these statements made here in the second chapter are all about that type of activity, pure devotional service. And to stepping into that type of a mindset definitely requires a lot of working inside. But this movement is functioning on the basis of that type of activity. It's not mundane activity, it's not ordinary activity. It is not only planning and execution that we do, which we must do anyway. It's happening under the spiritual energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead because He thinks it should happen. And it is happening under the guideline of Prabhupada because he thinks it should happen. Om Tat Sat. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki, Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Nittai Guru Premanande. Any question or comment?
Sometimes the custodians feel like I am the main custodian, so that they will not allow any other person who is more expert than them also to utilize the Krishna's assets in a very best way. Or else, sometimes they feel like out of false humility or irresponsibility, I am not the proper custodian. So they will be always seeking for some unqualified persons also to take up the responsibility and they will lead. So what is the balance for this?
What do you mean, what is the balance?
Means when we should understand that when we see a more expert person to give us space to them also, or we should protect from the mishaps.
You are given two instances of two people and obviously you have stated that they are wrong.
No, I'm asking that there are extremes.
No, yeah, I know, understand. But both are wrong. Two different extremes. That's what your point is. One is thinking that I am the chosen one. I am the chosen one. I must do it. And will not allow anybody else to do it. Who is even better than him, is what you said. Well, time, place, situation and circumstances should be seen to be able to give a proper prescription for that. But generally speaking, a person who does service will be absorbed in the service. And if somebody else says, I know this better than you, I have 15 years experience in doing this in the professional world outside, get out, I will do it. Like that. I don't know. You may have professional experience, but it doesn't mean that you'll be able to do devotional service in this thing so easily. Definitely I'll be wary if you tell me, I know this job, you get out. No. I can't get out. But what services you have to offer, what expertise you have to offer, we will use that also. But it's not that I have to vacate in order for your service to be done or your knowledge to come inside. So, you see, different people think differently. But we should always do things according to what produces good result for Krishna. Collectively. And if somebody has got an expertise, use it. But if somebody is needlessly desiring a position because he has a facility or because he has an expertise, that also can be considered, because we need to give sometimes position to a person to get some things done, power to a person to get some things done. It's important. So all these things should be considered together. Similarly, if somebody doesn't know and he occupies a position and doesn't allow others to do the other extreme you mentioned, similar thing can be understood from that. All sorts of things happen. Conditioned souls come in all shapes and sizes, and all these things happen. The only hope is that they read Prabhupada's books and they understand Krishna consciousness and they are sincere and accepting what is wrong, what is right, what is good for the movement. They get together and they do the right thing. That's the best thing to do. That's like a high, mature community of devotees. Very good team spirit. And they really are Sankirtan, I call them. together doing glorification of the Lord. Not some kirtan, like I say, doing some kirtan in a corner because I can do it myself. But doing Sankirtan, utilizing everybody's efforts to do, and not trying to dumb each other down or anything. If it's good, let him do. And what he needs, I like also chip in, so that finally something good turns out for Krishna consciousness movement. Irrespective of who is doing and this and that, let's all get together and use different skills and different talents, pull it together and produce the best product for Krishna. That is the way to do. That's Sankirtan. That is Sankirtan. You have to be in the mood of Sankirtan. The mood of Sankirtan is the real government. The real governance is Sankirtan governance is this mood. Okay? Any other question or comment? You have question or is there? Oh, okay.
Renunciation. If he would have taken his father's property and used in Krishna consciousness, would that not? He had that option also. So would that be a better service?
He decided not to because he cannot do it. He knew he couldn't do it. He's not going to bite something that he cannot chew. He's very smart. And he knows he need not do it. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Whatever is needed will come from him. What he needs is Lord Chaitanya's mercy. I'll earn that first. His priorities were right. Not that I will use my talent and show Lord Chaitanya that, see, this is what I am. Lord Chaitanya already knows that. What Lord Chaitanya is very interested is that you will value bhakti. That he showed to Lord Chaitanya. This is what I am here for. My highest value is for this. I may have been good in that, this and all that. So that is the right way to do it. You may have even talent. You may be expert in something. But you value devotional service, therefore you are allowing your talent to be used. It cannot be that bhakti, let it remain. First is, I will use my talent in devotional service. You will not be able to do it. Because your value systems are wrong. Your priorities are wrong. That's why. That's my understanding. You are thinking that he might as well call his father also, Tell him bring all the property. Let's build a huge temple in Jagannath Puri and put Lord Chaitanya inside that and he will be very pleased. No, he knew that's not what Lord Chaitanya wants. He knew that's not, it's not good for me also. I cannot handle that. No. Okay? Any other question?
When I was mentioning horoscope.
Horoscope? I said horoscope.
Yes, so my question is, should we refer the horoscope for choosing what type of service we have to do, our ashram and our service, because horoscope says that we will succeed in this service. I think again the answer will be the same, that
you are asking the question and giving the answer?
We gave the answer for the first question.
Anyway, for a person who has that type of feeling, will anyway go to the horoscope. And it is better he sticks to the horoscope and selects a service like that. But there are people I know that don't want to refer to the horoscope and they go through. That is their faith. Right? It may be true that the horoscope is coming true. It may be true that bhakti is coming true, irrespective of the horoscope. So it depends on where you have placed your faith. Things work according to that. So sometimes when devotees come and ask me, I went and checked my horoscope, it is like this, no big problem is going to come. I said, it's going to come definitely because you are inviting it by going and seeing the horoscope, by doing all these things and remaining on that platform of this, It's not that you should not see the horoscope, but the horoscope is not the be-all and end-all of everything. Your spiritual life and your choices you make are not indicated in the horoscope. That's your free will. That's your free will. My horoscope will not show that I'll become a sannyasi and join the Hare Krishna movement. I spent more than half my life here. But go and see my horoscope, it's not written there. It only shows that he has an indication for being religious and pious or something like that. But you won't see it in my horoscope. Because it's an exercise of my free will. Isn't it? So you always have the choice of exercising your free will and doing devotional service to Krishna, irrespective of any horoscope you have, whichever janma you are in. That is what is the whole thing. Everybody can do devotional service. That's the meaning of Krishna saying, Striyo Vaishyas Tata Shudras Yeyanti Param Gatim. People go, oh, why it's mentioned women and all. That's not what he's trying to say. Devotional service is so open, freely accessible and available, and the thing you should be doing, for which I have put no hindrances for anything. But if you keep on thinking, my desire, my horoscope, my this thing, then you'll go to astrologer, which is the best time to do this Homa, Yajna, I want to do it at this time, in spite of Krishna saying this, isn't it? And he'll say, yeah, do that. He says that also in Bhagavad Gita. Don't disturb these people who are involved in this karma and everything. Slowly engage them in Krishna consciousness. He's telling this to Arjuna. But at the same time, he's also telling in 18th chapter, dump all these things. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam praja. That also he's telling. So, where we have put our consciousness and our faith, we'll have to start moving according to that. And the more we develop devotional attitude and the more we appreciate Krishna consciousness and value it, the less we will feel the need for depending on anything like other things. But you should go from where you are. Better to go from where you are. Like Prabhupada did not see Vastu and all that in establishing his centers. Take out the church, take out the cross, put the chakra, inaugurate. They came and told him that ghost is haunted. He said, we will take that building, you do 24 hours kirtan, ghost will go away. And he did 24 hours kirtan, opened the temple. His thinking is very different. Ghost? Don't stand anyway, no chance. Ghost is no chance for him. And nothing stands in between for him. Because he is a pure devotee and he is saying, no, those things are not important. And he just went trailblazing with that. And Mr. Nair alone gave a little problem to him in Bombay. So he descended on that place after a lot of tries and said, who is this fellow? And he personally came and then he removed that impediment also. He removed that impediment and established Bombay. Isn't it? So what is our faith? How much we believe in Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita, institute it, put it to practice. That's the real test. Om Tat Sat, Srila Prabhupada ki, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki.